9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It's live. It's Wednesday. What is it? The 9th of November now. We've got Villa tomorrow. My starting 11 videos will be going out, as always, in the afternoon today. But we're here to talk about this morning, Jim Ratcliffe. We're here to talk about the Glazers. We're here to talk about Manchester United and the fact that Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos have effectively ruled themselves out of buying Liverpool and Manchester United. And the idea of buying any sort of elite level Premier League club comes as a bit of a blow to all of us who are so vociferous, I suppose, in the fact that we know that the Glazers need to go for any real sustained success to come to Manchester United. So we're going to speak through that. There was an interview that happened yesterday with the Telegraph, with Tom Morgan, with the spokesperson from Ineos. I'll run through that interview. We'll speak about it in the comments. I'm also going to be speaking about an article from James Ducker from the Telegraph. Again, Telegraph today. About Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Man United and Erik Ten Hag want to get rid of Wan-Bissaka in January. That's confirmed. We've been hearing it for quite a long time now. And now, it's just, we'll speak about it in the comments as we always do every single morning. What are the news? I'm going to speak about a little bit about Facundo Pellistri, a little bit about Anthony and his injury. And as always, I'll speak about your questions, any super chats you send in. I always read them out. How are we all doing this morning? Who's down here from the members? We've got T, good morning to you. Danny Jones, Charlie Hughes, good morning. Manoil Roger, how you doing, mate? Nick, I can see you there. Rafizel, David Bradbury, Sheriff. We've got Shetton, Ruman, Jason, Josh, I can see you there. Paula as well. And as always, good morning to the regulars. Who's here from Facebook? Let's have a look. Mark Barrett, good morning to you, my friend. Carl Baldwin, Trevor LaRue, and Gunkshy, as always. The OGs of the channel with here. Let's talk about it. Let's dive straight in. You know full well that Jim Ratcliffe is, well, yeah, it's Jim Ratcliffe. It's Britain's richest man. He's a boyhood Manchester United fan. He grew up 10 miles from Old Trafford. He's the Disney new owner. He's the dream ideal new owner for Manchester United and Manchester United fans. And there's been two times where we've got excited. One was back in the summer when Ineos came out and said that they were interested in buying Manchester United. And the fact that they would be interested in buying a minority stake with a view to a long-term ownership. And that got us all excited. And then Jim Ratcliffe gave an actual interview himself only last month, which I find curious. So I will speak about that this morning. Last month, he gave an interview with the Financial Times, I believe it was. It was in London. It was like a Q&A session. And he said, yeah, look, if the opportunity was there to buy Manchester United in the summer, we would have put an offer in. But the Glazers were not selling Manchester United. And there's an update on it now, and I'm going to presume this update is coming as a direct consequence of this. Obviously, the news broke from David Ornstein, what was it, 48 hours ago now. The FSG have put Liverpool up for sale. Now, that's the fact that they're looking for new shareholders, new stakeholders, and that's the beginning of an exit when it comes to minority stakeholders and shareholders, eventually growing into the majority stakeholders and shareholders. Shareholders? Owners. That's what happens. That's what FSG are doing. And I'm going to presume that Ineos were chased for a comment. And this is what was said. All right, let's run through this. So Jim Ratcliffe rules himself out of buying Liverpool, saying that League One offers better value. And this is coming from as an exclusive, as Britain's richest man is ready to challenge Qatari-owned PSG with Nice. Now, let's run through the article and let's run through the quotes. And they're saying this, that Ineos has ruled itself out of the running to buy Liverpool as the business empire, and this is the important part here, no longer sees value in buying a Premier League team. And this is what the quotes say. Our position has developed since the summer. and we are now focusing our efforts in Nice and raising our ambitions for the club to make them into a top-tier club in France to compete with PSG. This would represent much better value for our investment than buying one of the top-tier Premier League clubs. Now, what's your reaction to that? Because I'll be interested to know what you think in the comments below. And the reason I say I'm interested to know is because of this, right? So if we rewind a month ago, this was the interview that Jim Ratcliffe gave, the quotes that he gave during that Q&A session. He was saying, look, I'm a lifelong Manchester United fan. I was there in 99. United is owned by the Glazers, who I've met. They're really nice people, and they don't want to sell it. If it had been for sale in the summer, we probably would have had a go. But this is the big thing here. We can't sit around waiting for Manchester United to become available. And by the sounds of it here, this is Ineos really backing away from it. Manchester United not directly named in these quotes, but the same thing applies. This would represent much better value for our investment than buying one of the top Premier League clubs. Now, I've seen this as sort of quite a few people saying that. I don't think it was just Jim blowing smoke at all. When it comes to this, it's going to be a lot about interpretation and how you feel the quotes, because there's nothing concrete there. And it can be seen as a negotiating tactic. Of course it can. It can be seen as just Jim Ratcliffe has been blowing smoke the whole time, and he never was interested in buying Manchester United. I don't personally believe that. But if something has changed, as I said, because Jim has gone on record and said, look, if Manchester United was for sale in the summer, we would have bought it. We would have tried to buy it. We would have put an offer in. And they tried to buy Chelsea. So in the last 12 months, they've tried to buy a top-level Premier League club. They've looked at buying Manchester United, and the Glazers have refused to sell. And clearly, when they've been asked about buying Liverpool, it's just too much of an investment. So I think the intention was there and has been there, and the bid for Chelsea proves it was there. But has it changed? Have the Glazers really just doubled down? Because the reason Jim Ratcliffe was seen by a lot of us as the man was because he's the only one who's come out really and said that he wanted to buy Manchester United. And we know he's got the money to buy Manchester United. And we know he's a Manchester United fan. Let me go down there and see what you're saying. Stephen, you're saying Jim is still interested. He's a fan. Don't believe everything you see or read. I'm not here believing it. I'm here having a conversation about it with you. And that's what we're talking about, our interpretation of the comments, which have come directly from Ineos, by the way. It's a spokesman from Ineos. It's not anybody else. David, you're saying it's a business-centric answer. If United was up for sale, Jim will go for it. These Glazer protests need to keep going to get the slow rot out of the club. Could it be to keep everything out of the news with him buying in the long run? Craig, you think, look, that's because they don't want to buy any United anymore. Steve, you're going for reverse psychology. What else are we saying down here? He just doesn't want to be linked to Liverpool. I think Sir Jim is saying in a nice way, the Glazers. I mean, it is this. It is this. It's definitely a proper kick in the teeth if it's true. Because it's the same concept as leaving a job before you've got a new job. We all want rid of the Glazers, but we need new owners. And we don't. And at this moment in time, we were looking at Jim Ratcliffe. Who else are we looking at? Well, Michael Knighton. Let's not be silly, people. That's fantasy. Omar Jets, that's because the story came out last night. Look, I don't go live in the evening. I go live in the morning. See, I don't think this is correct. Mate, I'm not sure if you've seen how much money Ineos has got, but it's stupid. Like, they've got... If you were to go back and listen to his interview with the Financial Times, he was explaining, like, a 4 billion investment that's starting in Germany, a brand new investment that's going to happen in China that's going to make them the biggest petrochemicals company. That they've got money galore. Money galore. But what he's saying is that, you know what? As a business, we've had a pivot, and instead of going after a top level Premier League club, we're just going to try and make Nice the new PSG. That's what he's suggesting. I mean, Nice have gone a bit mad this summer, didn't they? They bought loads and loads of English players, didn't they? They've got Aaron Ramsey. I don't know who else they got. Michael, you're saying he has made statements in the past about a lack of value in the Prem. Maybe they've looked again at the costs involved. And when it comes to costs and when it comes to Manchester United, geez, we know full well that Manchester United is... I don't know what a true value of United is. Honestly, we've spoken about this so many times in the comments about, if Chelsea are worth, what was it, 4.25, but that included a 1.75 billion pledge to redevelopment of Stamford Bridge and investment in the club. So what's that? Values in about 2.25. We're hearing and seeing that Liverpool is worth in the region. I think their valuation is worth in the region of just shy of 4 billion. Manchester United are bigger than Liverpool. They are the two biggest clubs, two biggest English clubs by some distance when it comes to a global fan base. And that probably values Manchester United at more. And the fact that we've got 500-600 mil worth of debt, which would have to be absorbed into a new ownership. And the fact that we need that investment into Old Trafford. And the fact that we need that investment into Carrington. I honestly have no idea. And I know that people have thrown this number down there, 7 billion. I've no idea. 4 billion into Nice. I don't know what would happen if you just put 4 billion into Nice. I suppose when you think about it like that, yeah, if you're going to spend 4 billion, but PSG still haven't won the Champions League. PSG are surely hemorrhaging money still. James, you're going saying it's at least a 10 billion. 10 billion, I think, is a bit strong. I definitely think it's a bit strong. This is completely true, the reckoning. And I've said this quite a lot. The legacy value of Manchester United is something that the Glazers they have bled that dry. Bled it dry. To the point where we're now losing value. And the only way that value goes up is if we start being successful again. It's an interesting one. It really is. It's not what we want to hear. It really isn't what we want to hear. And I'm interested to see if anything develops. But this is the latest coming from a spokesperson from Ineos saying that they're not interested in buying an elite level Premier League club anymore. That was the case in the summer, but things have changed since the summer. Is that because they've been in negotiations behind the scenes with the Glazers to try and find out if they really would sell? And the answer is just categorically no. That could be the case. Is it just the fact that this is Jim Ratcliffe blowing smoke and he's never been interested in buying Manchester United? That could be the case. Is it the fact that this is a negotiation tactic and he's still completely interested in buying Manchester United? Yes, it is the case. It isn't definitive in that sense, but we just have to follow the news as it's released and kind of take our own interpretation of it. Jim, I hope it's just a negotiation tactic. I really do. I still stand by the fact that if Jim genuinely thought that Manchester United were for sale, he'd snap it up in a heartbeat. But I think what we're really, really seeing and understanding, and kind of what we all knew and anyway, is the Glazers have got their talons so deep into Manchester United and they are fucking refusing to let go. Refusing to let go. Because it wouldn't be hard to sell Manchester United. Yeah, it'll be hella expensive. It's Manchester United. We would find new owners. And I don't think we'd struggle. But they do not want to let go. Out of stubbornness, out of, I don't fucking know. But they're refusing. Fucking pricks. And the issue is that the percentage of United supporters who experience the glory days are getting... Well, that's true enough. Mate, there's... If we haven't won the league... I was thinking about this last night. We haven't won the league since 2013. So we're coming up to a decade. A decade. there's going to be a generation growing up in school that just don't know, that just look at United as this like pup team that finishes fourth sometimes. Nick, he's saying FSG are going to make a massive profit on Liverpool. Who would have guessed that performances on the pitch actually influences the club net worth? I mean, honestly, Nick, I have no idea who came up with such a ridiculous concept. Now, if you don't know, FSG bought Liverpool for in the region, I believe, of 300 million. Now, they've invested heavily. Yeah, they have. So it's not a case of if they sell the club for 4 billion that they're going to make 3.7 billion profit. That's not the case. They've invested heavily. Two stands in Anfield have been redeveloped. They've got a new training ground. They've had a lot of investment inside that squad. And they finally won the Premier League. And they've won a Champions League. And they've got to other Champions League finals too. Lost them. Right. But it goes to show you what happens. And look at City right now. Now, City are definitely... I mean, I don't know how they get away with it. It's so damn obvious, but their accountants must be clever. They've now got record revenues, and so many of their sponsors are from the Emirates, are from companies and businesses who have links to their owners, and it's insane that they're managing to get away with it. But City are now posting higher revenues than Manchester United. And the only way it changes is if we get new owners. And I tweeted about it. Yes, was it yesterday? I think I tweeted about it. Or was it the day before? And Twitter just pisses me off. Twitter is a cesspit. Apart from the people that you follow and the people that you want to listen to, if you get exposed to the wider part of Twitter, it's an absolute cesspit. Everybody in my mentions saying, "Oh look, the Norwich scarves are out after one loss." And I can't be bothered to explain it to anyone. I can't. There's no way I'm trying to nibble on any of that anymore because it's pointless trying to. Stupid people are stupid people, and you can't help stupid people be stupid people. Look at Donald Trump, and I look at Twitter and a lot of people on Twitter in that sense as well. There's no point trying to explain it to people who are stupid. But until things change and until the owners change, we're just going to be stuck in this perpetual cycle of hope. And I look, I really, really, really hope that Erik ten Hag manages to navigate these waters successfully. And judging by these early start, I think we will. And I think we'll definitely be a better football team because of Erik ten Hag. But he's swimming upstream. He's swimming upstream, and that's why we looked at Jim Ratcliffe and go, you know what? Please, please. We're almost begging at this point. We're almost begging. What are we saying down here? Donald Trump, let's all laugh for a minute. Yeah, you're looking at the midterm elections out in America. It looks, well, let's not speak too soon, but it looks like it's not going to be as crazy as it once was before. What else are you saying down here? United need proper investment. United belongs at the forefront of football. We don't need owners who use our money to pay off their debt, but let's be clear, it's our money. When they go, it's going to be a bigger parade than 99. And that's not an exaggeration. It's going to be an absolute fucking party. It really, really will be. I hope so. There's a decision that's coming. So I spoke to Ben Jacobs yesterday, who is a journalist. I think he writes like CBS. I don't know. He's a journalist. And he was tweeting yesterday about, so A22 Sports Investment Group, they are the people who are fronting this new Super League. They had a meeting with UEFA yesterday, and they got blindsided. They thought they were just going to go for a meeting with Alexander Seferin, who I think is the UEFA president, on his own. And there was like 20 people there. And they absolutely just like hustled into a corner. They didn't start punching them, but it was good. And a lot of information came out in that. So I'm going to actually have an interview with Ben Jacobs tomorrow. I'll probably release it at some point next week. And just to give a bit of insight into the Super League, because there's a decision coming on the 15th of December, I think I know, on the 15th of December, where we will find out, I think it's like European Court of Law, whether or not UEFA can hold a monopoly on European competition. Well, that's what they're arguing against. That's what this Super League is trying to do. It's trying to say that, no, UEFA can't just control it. There should be other people that should be allowed to go into it. And that decision comes on the 15th. And if that goes against them, then that's another step away from the Super League. And maybe that can be a conversation that therefore pushes the idea of the Glazers wanting to sell, because I still think they're holding on to the idea of the Super League happening. Because if it ever happens, we're never getting rid of the Glazers. We're never getting rid of the Glazers if the Super League happens. Gungshi down there. Gifting 10 memberships, man. Just constantly put a smile on my face, you do, man. Who are the lucky 10 this time? Anonymous. I like that. It's a good name. Guarda Viewer, Chima. We got Nev Samal, Therapist, Mosin, Zeme, Dehinde Phillips, Lauren United, and Eftim Gajowski. Ricky, sorry, Ricky. I apologize if I didn't see them, my friend. I apologize. I always react to the comments down here. That's the only time I see, because I have to pull my phone out and look on there because my desktop doesn't give it to me. Absolute legends, man. Yeah, Gungshi. I think this is a fair point now. Put that secret card away. Buy United. It's a good idea. But look, let's move on to, I suppose, better things, better conversations. And that's this. In my opinion, I would say it's a better conversation. It's come from James Ducker from The Telegraph about Manchester United's January transfer plans, certainly with the right back. Let's run through this. Manchester United are targeting a new right back in January if they can offload Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Let's read it. Ten Hag will look to sign a right back in January if Man United are able to offload Wan-Bissaka. Delo's established himself, but Ten Hag wants quality competition in the position and is keen to bring in another right back in the winter window, even if that may hinge on United getting Wan-Bissaka off the wage bill. Now, I'm going to... When it comes to Wan-Bissaka, it's reached a point now where there's a positive in the absence. And by that, I mean, it will help Manchester United. It will help Erik ten Hag simply if Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't here. He's absolutely in no way, shape or form part of his plans at all. And we play tomorrow night. We've got Delo who's suspended for Fulham. And I still don't think we'll see Wan-Bissaka in either. Maybe you'll see Wan-Bissaka against Villa tomorrow night in the League Cup, simply so he can be put in the shop window a little bit. But he's not part of the plans in any way, shape or form. And what Manchester United need to do here, right, is just swallow the mistake. And the mistake is Wan-Bissaka. The mistake is spending 50 million. And the mistake is him having, 90 grand a week, I think he's on. There's no club that's going to pay 90 grand a week wages for Wan-Bissaka. It's almost like we have given out so many contracts over the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years to players that are overinflated, and then we got stuck with that player. Currently, Wan-Bissaka's one of those players. Right? And we just need to move him on. Gungshi's down there. I'd agree with that. Wan-Bissaka. Look, Wan-Bissaka. If we look at Wan-Bissaka, let's follow the trajectory of Wan-Bissaka and Delo, right? Because there was once upon a time they were on an equal playing field, level playing field. Wan-Bissaka was brilliant defensively, but you had questions about whether or not he could do it going forward. Delo was a little bit more natural in going forward, but there were so many questions defensively. And since then, Ten Hag is obviously the right manager to get the most out of Delo, and he's unlocked him. And now Delo, defensively, is fantastic. Delo's progress as a defensive defender has been amazing. Going forward, I still think there's some work to be done on his crossing. Certainly his earlier crosses. I think he's okay with, saying that cutback to Ronaldo against Villa was so not to Ronaldo, but that cutback against Villa was painful. But Delo's progress has been fantastic. Salim, you could say that Delo's... I don't think that at all. Delo is absolutely grafted for this position. Mate, he started there is not one outfield player who has more minutes than Delo this season. He started every game and he is grafted. He's worked hard And physically, he just looks really, really resolute. And yeah, that's basically what I would have to give it. It was a battle between the two. There was once upon a time they were just on an equal level playing field, and Delot was like, "No, you know what? Fuck this. I'm getting it. I'm grabbing my chance." And of course, having the right manager in helped him, and having the wrong manager for Wan-Bissaka didn't help him. Something I would agree with down there, and you do have to give Wan-Bissaka credibility for how professional he's been. No sort of leaking to the press, no leaking anything. Fair play, Wan-Bissaka. And I've never at any point sort of questioned his professionalism. I've never had to. But he just doesn't suit the team. And Nick, you're right there. It's exactly what Wan-Bissaka is. Wan-Bissaka suits a team which has to defend for the majority of the game. He's known as Spider. Remember those tackles where he just gets his leg in behind. Remember, was it Raheem Sterling and Salah? There's quite a few performances and occasions where Wan-Bissaka's played brilliantly. But when he comes to a team which dominates possession, dominates the ball, well, the intention is to become that team that dominates possession and dominates the ball. There's no way that Wan-Bissaka fits that system. And this is why Man United in January, we've got to back Erik ten Hag, and we've got to swallow the mistake that we've made. 50 million, we're not going to recoup more than, well, I don't know, 10 to 15, probably. And even that might be a little bit generous considering he's just been frozen out completely. 10 to 15 mil, and we're going to have to loan him out first. And I think what needs to happen, and probably what will happen, if Wan-Bissaka leaves in January, Manchester United will have to pay part of his wages. We'll have to pay 30 grand a week, something like that. I don't know, maybe more than that. 30, 40, 50 grand a week for Wan-Bissaka not to play for us. Now, I believe we did that with Alexis Sanchez. So we've done it. We've got history before now. I'm in no way, shape, or form am I putting Sanchez and Wan-Bissaka in the same category. But the situations I'm comparing are a player that we didn't want at the club anymore, who was on wages that no club would pay, and then we paid part of those wages just to get him off the books. Now, I don't think that happens with Ronaldo, because Ronaldo's wages are just insane. Go down here, and you're saying that one-on-one can't think. Look, I think if Wan-Bissaka can go back to that Palace team now, really exciting Palace team that Vieira is building there with Elise, with Zaha, with Eze. I'm happy for Palace fans after Roy Hodgson for that many years. Bloody hell, they've got an exciting team that's being built, and Wan-Bissaka could definitely go back there and be like, it's like you never left, sort of thing. I imagine. Delot was shifted on loan, says Estevo. Wan-Bissaka got game time, so I think things were even harder on Delot. At a stage, Delot was even said to be leaked. Yeah, mate, Delot really deserves all the credit he should be given. Do you think it's worth the club still buying a striker and right back, even if we... Mate, Tyler, you know the answer to that. It's a rhetorical question. Of course I do. And we go back to the article there written by James Ducker, and he says this, down in the bottom, which is the absolute truth, and this has to be the case. A centre forward remains a priority, with Ronaldo expected to leave in January or at the end of the season when his contract expires. If United can get what United want, Ronaldo will leave the club in January. And we will, whether we sign somebody, that's... Geez, remember that? Imagine we do it twice. When we sold Ronaldo, we didn't replace him properly back in 2009. We got what? Was it Owen Valencia and... can't remember, was it Bebe? Well, fuck knows what it was. Anyway, we didn't really... We never properly replaced Ronaldo. If Ronaldo leaves in January, there is a possibility that Ronaldo just leaves in January and that we don't bring anyone in until the summer. I genuinely do think that would probably be a better situation for Manchester United. It was Obertan, of course it was. Jeez, Obertan, my God, big egghead. I genuinely, again, I might get pelters for this. I genuinely think that I would rather Manchester United didn't have anybody. Sorry, didn't have Ronaldo. Just as long as Ronaldo leaves in January, I'm happy. I'm completely done with it. I can see full well that there is a version of United which is brilliant, which cannot exist with Ronaldo in the team. And therefore, from January onwards, I would rather just that question about Ronaldo just didn't need to be asked. It was just, it's not there anymore. There's no questions about Ronaldo every single week for Ten Hag. And then Ten Hag, in an ideal situation, we get that striker in and we replace Ronaldo in January. But I still think it would suit United better for just Ronaldo to be shipped off and then we deal with it without Ronaldo. I think that would suit Ten Hag better. Let's find out. What you're saying down here in the comments. Look, Charlie McNeil, of course, you can talk about Charlie McNeil. But just say it in your head, the concept of replacing Cristiano Ronaldo with an academy 18-year-old in Charlie McNeil is just the most unfair thing in the world to ask of a youngster like that. And this is definitely not Fergie speaking down here. This channel has turned into the Ronaldo channel, out channel. I explained to you, and I've done this so many times. There's no agendas on this channel against any individual. My agenda is what is best for Manchester United, ? And Ronaldo leaving falls underneath that now. And if you can't see that, I feel sorry for you. Honestly, I suppose it goes to show how attached to players people can get. And it must be difficult for managers to do that as well, because managers must have to deal with that too on a different level. The attachment that people get to players is unbelievable. Really, really is unbelievable. What else are you saying down there? I would agree with that, Jonathan. The jump between under 18s, even under 23s, even a loan spell to the Premier League is unreal. Let alone just jumping straight from the under 18s to the Premier League, which Garnacho has actually managed to do, which is quite impressive, really. Nick, exactly what I'm saying down there. It's crazy. It really, really is a dominant thing. Piro, I think this is probably best case scenario there, is that Ronaldo does have a stormer at the World Cup and that somebody in the Champions League knockouts looks at Ronaldo and goes, you know what? Let's do it. Let's bring Ronaldo in right now. Let's bring him into the knockouts, and then Ronaldo goes and wins the Champions League with someone else. I would love for him to do that. I would love for him to do that. Nadu is saying, Sam, you're right. Now, I was a big thinker that we could work with Ronnie, but I see clip. It's, mate, I tell you what, it is a fucking shame. And it hurts to see it. Because I don't want to be speaking about how United are better without Ronaldo. I would much rather be speaking about how United are dominating it with Ronaldo in, with the guy who scored 24 goals last year. And all of a sudden, look, we've got a better team around him. It's not happening. It's not happening, and it won't ever happen. Right, Dane, Sam, one game we've played great, and you make it sound like it's how we play week in, week out without Ronaldo. It's ridiculous. If you can't, fair play, Dane. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But if you honestly can't look at United now, and you've not been watching it week and week and week, and you can't see that there is a different team that exists and a different style of play that exists without Ronaldo compared to with Ronaldo, then I feel sorry for you. I don't think you're watching the game properly. And I think you're blinded because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Greatest goal scorer of all time. How can you possibly criticize him? And there are it's some people that just can't snap out of that. And once we've moved on as a club without Ronaldo, I imagine there'll be a lot of people who go, oh, you know what? Yeah. Well, actually, I do think they are a better team without him. Yeah, fair enough. I was wrong. Somebody who I think we might be seeing on tomorrow night is this lad here. And I'd like to see this as a front three, actually. So you've got Alejandro Garnacho on the left there. Of course, you've got Facundo Pellistri in the middle, and you've got Anthony Martial on the right-hand side. Martial's been missing. There's not been one, we spoke about it on the podcast, there's not been one game this season where Ten Hag has had the front three that he wants to have. His first choice left winger is Rashford. His first choice number 9 is Martial. His first choice right winger is Anthony. And there's not been one game that we've started this season, I don't think, where we've had all three of those fit and ready starting in those positions. And it's, man, it's frustrating. And still we've had progress. But still, that's why we're looking at some of the speed bumps. Maybe that's why performances like Villa are still existing. But with Pellistri, he impressed last season during the preseason. Then he went out on loan, had a decent enough loan spell, broke into the Uruguay senior national team, came back in preseason again. This preseason was quite impressive. Then got an injury against Atletico Madrid, and he has been injured for a long, long time since. Now, Pellistri is back in full training here, and we're seeing separate. Look, this is just coming out of Spain, and I'm not saying this as a gospel truth, but it's not the only time I've seen this story. The idea that Pellistri wants to leave Manchester United, and whatever happens to him during the World Cup is going to play a part of it. Now, when it comes to Manchester United's right wing, without Anthony, it's a problem. It is a problem. Anthony Elanga's tried it there. He's nowhere near dynamic enough or technically gifted enough to step into the shoes that Anthony leaves behind. He's too square as a footballer. He's like Wan-Bissaka if he was a right winger, is effectively what Anthony Elanga is. Will do the job properly. He's got the pace. He's got everything. Yes, he has got a bit of finishing in him. Remember Atletico Madrid last season away? But we need a better alternative to Anthony on the right wing. And I think, go for Pellistri, man. If Pellistri's fit enough and he's ready enough, then I think we should be starting him against Aston Villa. But I don't know. I really, really don't know whether Ten Hag's just going to put out a full 11. Because it's a possibility. Because we've got Villa on Thursday and Fulham on Sunday, and then no football until we return from the World Cup. Ten Hag might just be looking at it and going, you know what? Sod that. There's not changed too much. Let's just play a full strength team. My gut instinct is telling me it will be somewhere halfway in the middle. I think we'll probably see, I imagine, 4 changes to that outfield 11. And then still quite a lot of senior players. It won't be a straight 9 players in or out. Mate, Daisy, it really is sad that at this moment in time, Jadon Sancho is not really a conversation that we're having. I'm still not so sure. I'm still praying that it works out with Sancho because the guy's a baller. The guy is a baller. But I tell you what we need to do for Sancho to shine is dominate the ball more. Need to have more possession inside those final thirds. But at the same time, he needs more confidence. He needs to look at the success of Garnacho and go, shit, if I don't buck up my ideas, I'm not going to succeed here. I mean, no, can't be bothered with that. Garnacho's 2-footed, should be given a go. I mean, he's only just broken into the first team, isn't he? So I think that's probably why. Well, it was why. Erik Ten Hag decided to play Rashford out of position against Villa because he's probably the more experienced player. Whereas maybe he hadn't watched Rashford play on the right wing because I could have told you. Everybody could have told Erik Ten Hag, you shouldn't play Rashford on the right wing because he's crap. And I find it really weird. How is Rashford that crap on the right wing? It's like, I know it's not the left wing. I know it's not quite what you want, but how are you that bad? It's really, really weird. Really weird. What else are you saying down here? Should rest 8 to 9 players. It's a noddy cupmanship, mate. Andy, he's rotated the whole squad once, did it against Real Sociedad, and we lost. And ultimately, that has led to us playing Barcelona in an extra knockout round playoff game. I don't think Erik Ten Hag, at any point this season now, will be changing 8, 9 players. I think he's learned from that mistake. He's been burned against Sociedad, and I don't think he's going to do it again. Ali, I saw that. I was going to do a video on it yesterday, but I decided to do the video on Jude Bellingham instead. I don't think we haven't seen Manchester United's first choice front three this season, so I don't think that Gary Neville's particularly wrong in saying it with the worst front three at the moment. But I don't think we haven't seen our first choice front three. So you can't really say that, because until you've got a run of games where you've seen 5-6 games of Rashford on the left, Martial up front, and Anthony on the right, it's unfair to say that Manchester United got the worst front three in the top 6. And yeah, Jonathan, I disagree with this. I don't think that Erik ten Hag will do it. When it comes to Anthony, I don't think we'll be seeing Anthony. We've got some reports coming out this is from Goal in Brazil, basically saying that Anthony, if we can scroll down here, read a little bit. There you go. So he is recovering from a hip injury. So the striker's been closely monitored by the doctor of the Brazilian team, and there is no expectation he will play before the player's presentation on the 14th of November. So it doesn't sound like we're going to be seeing Anthony against Fulham. It doesn't sound like we're going to see Anthony until after the World Cup. That's what I think anyway, which is a real shame, because Anthony, I was enjoying watching Anthony. I really, really was. See, Erik keep saying he wants to win every game, so I don't see many changes. I think it will be a blend, as I said. I think there will be changes. I'm going to predict there's going to be maybe 4 or 5 outfield changes. I don't think it will be as wholesale as Sociedad, where I think we had like 8 or 9. I don't think that's going to be the case. And Paul, yeah, imagine Ten Hag puts out a completely weakened 11, and you know Villa are going to come full strength, and they beat us 2 times in a week. Ten Hag will know that is not the momentum that he needs going into the World Cup. But yeah, injured doing that 360. That's funny. That's funny. Mate, Ross, do you blame them? Do you really blame them? If you were a player that's on the verge of playing the World Cup, would you really want to risk an injury 4 or 5 days before it happened? No, you probably just extend your injury a little bit. And I cannot blame that at all, because I know I'd do the exact same if I was ever in that situation. Look, last couple of minutes of every show, fire in your questions. Can be football related, can be to do with anything. Just fire in your questions and I'll try and answer a few of them in the comments. Craig, you're saying, I think the cup will bring confidence to the team. Why not go for it? We won't be winning the league, so the League Cup or the FA or Europa are what the club should be targeting. I would probably disagree on the League Cup and FA Cup. I think given this season of all seasons, and we thought that the season was disrupted by COVID, let alone having a bloody World Cup in the middle of it. Everyone's going to be absolutely shagged after the World Cup. Jaded, faded, tired, exhausted, all the superlatives. And they're playing in 40-degree heat. That's madness. Like air-conditioned stadiums, so knows how that works. When it comes to the cup games, we're going to have to rotate. We really are going to properly have to rotate. And I think when it comes to the League Cup or the FA Cup, we should really be playing youth players. There's quite a few youth, but there should be some decent rotation in them, because we won't have the squad to cope with the demands of what this season is going to be. Hearing a bit, I'm not sure where you're hearing that from, man. Let's find out. I don't know what other country. I think the UAE. Is it Qatar doesn't own a Premier League, doesn't own a club either. I think there are a couple of sort of like states like that don't own clubs. But I tell you what, mate, if United become a bloody state-owned club, that won't sit right with me. I'm not sure about you. Danny, I'm coming to the UK next. You still owe me a pint for the De Jong bit. Ooh, a pint of vodka. Ricky saying, do you have a day for the merchandise to go on sale? Need to make a Christmas list for my family. Ricky, there was a knock on the door that happened 4 minutes into the start of this show, but I left it because I didn't want to go over and get it. That might have been the delivery of all the samples, because I'm waiting for them. Everything is ready to go. I just want to get the samples through so I can make sure the quality is good. And if it's good, then we're ready to go. And I'm going to be launching either tomorrow, or I might just save it for Friday. It feels like a Friday vibe, and hopefully we can do that after beating Villa. What else are you saying down here? What players would you like to see United sign in January or the summer? Tyler, it's too big a conversation to be had down here. I'm going to go for a bum. All right? I'm going to go for a bum. How about that? How about that? What else are you saying down here? When I used to play football, I played less centre mid because I couldn't run. I was a bit chubby. I was really good at headers. I played football up until I was 14. Then my team got disbanded, and I just fell out of it. I know I played all the way through being a kid up until about 14. But nobody would ever go up for the headers from the goal kick. It was always me because I'm double hard. I mean, legally, yes, but that won't be the case very, very soon. It wasn't a doorbell. It was somebody knocking at the door. Brad, you're saying as a member, what perks do I get? You get comments read out as a priority on here. You get access to the members only group on Telegram. When the merchandise launched, there'll be a discount code for members only. There's also going to be, I can tell you now, actually, no one knows this, seeing as you asked. There's certain products and certain designs and colors that are only available to members, that members will only members will be able to access it. It won't be on the website. It'll be on a separate link for members only. And it's my way of giving back to just the members. Yeah. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Used to play Football Manager. Don't really have time to play games anymore, which is a shame. I love playing games. Games are awesome, but I just don't have time. Mine, I would love to see a Brazil-Argentina World Cup final. Just that Brazil squad is quality. And it'll be nice. I'd like to see Messi lose the World Cup final to Brazil. David is saying, how do I join the members group on Telegram? Mate, you need to go to the community tab on YouTube. And in there, you'll find a special members only link. Go click that, and you should be able to. There's more than just a general chat. There's general chat, transfer talk, match day. There's loads of them in there. Right, I'll end this up. I'll end this now. Thank you all for joining in today. Bit of a quiet stream, but a good conversation I think we had in the comments. Big up to Gungshi and Ricky for supporting the community, as you always do. I'm hoping that dude's left it just outside the door. That'll be nice. If not, I'm going to have to bloody wait until tomorrow, which will be a little bit annoying. But the merch is coming. I'm so excited. I'm really, really proud of how it's turned out. It's been a long, long time and a lot of work that I put into it. But I feel happy enough to say, yeah, this is the merch. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it. If not, it doesn't matter at all. You're all here supporting the channel. But take it easy, everyone. Make sure you check out my Villa 11 video. It's going to go out just before lunchtime today. Until next time, take it easy.